Chapter 1. A Spark in Childhood. In the quiet town of Ulm, Germany, a baby boy was born into the Einstein family on March 14, 1879. They named him Albert. Little did they know, Albert would grow up to change the way we understand the universe. Albert's father, Hermann Einstein, was an engineer and salesman who introduced Albert to the wonders of science. One day, when Albert was just 5 years old, his father showed him a simple compass. To many, a compass was just a tool, but to young Albert, it was a gateway to a lifelong quest. He was fascinated. How could the needle always know where north was? What invisible forces guided it? This early experience sparked a deep curiosity in Albert. He began asking questions about the natural world that adults couldn't answer. His parents and teachers noticed his keen interest in science and mathematics, but they also saw that he was different from other children. Albert didn't speak much in his early years, which worried his parents. However, when he did speak, he spoke with precision and thoughtfulness, pondering deeply about everything around him. School was a challenge for Albert. He felt confined by the strict rules and rote learning. He dreamed of a place where he could explore his ideas freely, without being told what to think or do. Albert loved to imagine and create, often losing track of time while deep in thought. His favorite subjects were physics and mathematics, where he could explore the laws that govern the universe. Despite his brilliance, Albert faced difficulties in school. His teachers didn't understand his unique way of thinking. They saw him as rebellious and uninterested because he questioned everything and was often lost in his own world. But Albert wasn't uninterested. He was just interested in bigger questions than those found in his textbooks. Albert's family moved to Munich when he was a child. The move was hard on him. He missed the open fields of Ulm and found the city noisy and crowded. However, Munich offered Albert new opportunities to learn. His uncle, Jacob, who was an engineer, introduced him to more complex mathematical problems. Albert was thrilled. He devoured books on science and mathematics, far beyond what was taught in his school. Despite his love for learning, Albert's dislike for the rigid schooling system grew stronger. He felt it stifled creativity and did not encourage critical thinking. This conflict with the education system would be a theme throughout his early life, but it also taught him to trust his intuition and to pursue knowledge in his own way. The turning point came when Albert was 16. He made a bold decision to leave school and his family in Munich to pursue his own path. It was a risky move, but Albert was determined. He wanted to learn on his terms, guided by his curiosity and passion for understanding the mysteries of the universe. This decision led him to Switzerland, where he hoped to find a more supportive environment for his studies. Albert's journey was not easy. He faced financial difficulties and had to work hard to pass the entrance exams for the Swiss Federal Polytechnic School in Zurich. But his determination paid off. He was finally in a place where he could explore his ideas freely. In these early years, Albert learned the value of questioning the world around him. The spark that was lit by a simple compass had ignited a fire of curiosity. This curiosity would drive him to uncover some of the universe's most profound secrets. Albert Einstein's journey had just begun, and the world would never be the same. As a young boy with a mind full of questions, Albert showed us that curiosity could lead us to discover incredible things about the world and ourselves. His early life reminds us that sometimes, to find our own path, we must be brave enough to follow our curiosity, even when others might not understand it. Chapter 2. The Rebel Student. Albert Einstein's journey through education was anything but ordinary. As he grew older, his thirst for knowledge deepened, but his patience for traditional schooling diminished. This chapter tells the story of Albert, the rebel student, whose brilliant mind often clashed with the rigid structures of the education system. After leaving his family and the conventional schools in Munich, Albert found himself in Switzerland, determined to carve his own path in the world of knowledge. He was excited about the possibilities that lay ahead at the Swiss Federal Polytechnic School in Zurich. Yet, this new environment, though more liberal than what he had left behind, still presented challenges for a mind as unorthodox as Einstein's. Albert's approach to learning was deeply rooted in curiosity and imagination. He believed in understanding the fundamental principles behind phenomena rather than just memorizing facts. This approach often put him at odds with his teachers, who were accustomed to students who followed the curriculum without questioning. In classes, Albert was quiet, preferring to absorb the material in his own way. He skipped the lecturers he found uninspiring, spending his time instead in the library or discussing theories with like-minded peers. This independent study method worked well for Albert, but it frustrated some of his professors, who saw his absence from lectures as a sign of disrespect. Despite these tensions, there was no denying Albert's brilliance. He excelled in mathematics and physics, subjects that allowed him to explore the underlying truths of the universe. His exam scores in these areas were often remarkable, proving his deep understanding and innovative thinking. However, not all was smooth sailing. Some courses required rote learning, which Albert struggled with. He found memorizing details without understanding their context tedious and unfulfilling. This led to clashes with teachers who could not appreciate his unique approach to learning. They labeled him a rebel, a troublemaker, who refused to conform to the established way of doing things. Albert's relationship with his professors grew more strained as he neared the end of his studies. He was often critical of their teachings, feeling that they lacked imagination and depth. This criticism did not endear him to the faculty, and as a result, he found himself isolated from the academic community. Despite these challenges, Albert remained committed to his studies, driven by an insatiable curiosity and a desire to unlock the mysteries of the universe. He spent hours in the library, poring over books and papers, always searching for deeper insights. His dedication was unmatched, but his unconventional methods meant he walked a solitary path. As graduation approached, Albert's prospects seemed uncertain. His rebellious reputation and strained relationships with faculty members made it difficult for him to secure references for academic positions. He realized that his path might not lead immediately to a career in academia, as he had hoped. But Albert was not deterred. He knew that his journey was about more than securing a job. It was about pursuing truth and understanding. After graduating, Albert faced a period of uncertainty. Jobs were hard to come by, especially for someone with his reputation. He took on various temporary positions, all the while continuing his own research and studies in physics. This period of struggle was challenging, but it was also a time of immense growth. Albert learned to navigate the world outside the academic bubble, gaining life experiences that would enrich his understanding of people and society. These experiences, though difficult, contributed to his development not just as a scientist, but as a person. The rebel student, once at odds with the education system, was now stepping into the wider world, armed with a profound knowledge of physics and mathematics, and a deep desire to make his mark. Albert's unconventional education journey had been fraught with challenges, but it had also freed him to explore ideas in ways that traditional paths might not have allowed. Albert Einstein's story teaches us that education is not just about attending classes and passing exams. It's about questioning, exploring, and seeking to understand the world on a deeper level. Albert's rebel spirit, though it caused him trouble in his student days, was precisely what allowed him to revolutionize our understanding of the universe in the years to come. Chapter 3. The Miracle Year. The year was 1905, a year that would forever be etched in the annals of history as Albert Einstein's miracle year. At the time, Albert worked at the Swiss Patent Office in Bern, a job that, surprisingly, gave him the freedom to contemplate the universe's mysteries. Little did anyone know, this unassuming young man was about to turn the world of physics on its head. Albert's days were split between examining patent applications and delving deep into the realms of theoretical physics. The quiet moments at his desk became the birthplace of ideas that would challenge centuries-old beliefs about the nature of light, time, and space. The first revelation came in March, when Albert published a paper on the photoelectric effect. This paper proposed that light could be understood as quanta of energy, which later would be called photons. This groundbreaking idea provided the first quantum theory of light, suggesting that light could act both as a wave and as a particle. It was a bold leap that laid the foundation for the development of quantum physics. But Albert was just getting started. In May, he introduced the world to his theory on the movement of small particles suspended in a stationary liquid, known today as Brownian motion. This theory provided empirical evidence for the atomic theory of matter, proving that atoms and molecules actually existed. Until then, many scientists considered atoms to be merely a convenient concept, not real physical entities. Albert's explanation of Brownian motion offered concrete proof that atoms were real, changing the way scientists viewed the composition of matter. However, it was in June that Albert published what would become one of the most famous papers in the history of science. Titled On the Electrodynamics of Moving Bodies, it introduced the special theory of relativity. This theory proposed a new way of understanding space and time, suggesting that the laws of physics are the same for all non-accelerating observers, and that the speed of light in a vacuum is constant, regardless of the speed at which an observer travels. This was a radical departure from Newtonian mechanics, which had been the cornerstone of physics for over 2 centuries. Albert's theory of relativity shattered the conventional notions of absolute time and space. It introduced the concept that time could slow down and distances could contract depending on how fast you were moving. The implications were staggering, altering the course of physics and changing our understanding of the universe. But Albert wasn't done yet. In September, he capped off his miracle year with a paper that gave the world the most famous equation in physics, E=mc2. This equation, a consequence of the special theory of relativity, showed that energy, E, and mass, m, are interchangeable. They are different forms of the same thing. This insight laid the groundwork for future scientific breakthroughs, including the development of nuclear energy. The publication of these papers in quick succession stunned the scientific community. Here was a relatively unknown patent clerk with no access to a laboratory or formal academic position who had single-handedly revolutionized physics. His theories challenged established doctrines and paved the way for new fields of research. Despite the groundbreaking nature of his work, Albert's ideas were not immediately accepted. The scientific community was skeptical, and it took years for his theories to be fully understood and recognized. But Albert was not deterred. He continued to work and refine his theories, confident in the knowledge that he had uncovered fundamental truths about the universe. The miracle year of 1905 was a turning point, not only in Albert Einstein's life, but in the history of science. His contributions laid the foundation for modern physics, influencing countless discoveries and technological advancements. Albert's miracle year teaches us the power of curiosity and perseverance. He worked in relative obscurity, driven not by fame or recognition, but by a relentless pursuit of understanding. His story is a testament to the fact that great ideas can come from anywhere, and breakthroughs often happen when we challenge the status quo. As we reflect on the miracle year and its impact on the world, we are reminded of the endless possibilities that lie within the human mind. Albert Einstein, a young patent clerk with a passion for uncovering the mysteries of the universe, changed the course of history with his brilliant insights. His legacy continues to inspire scientists, thinkers, and dreamers around the world, proving that, with imagination and determination, anything is possible. Chapter 4. Love and Light. In the midst of Albert Einstein's scientific explorations, a personal story of love and partnership unfolded, one that would deeply influence his life and work. This chapter delves into Albert's relationship with Mileva Maric, a fellow student and physicist, who became not only his wife but also an intellectual companion during some of his most formative years. Albert and Mileva met at the Swiss Federal Polytechnic School in Zurich, where Mileva was one of the few women studying physics. From the start, Albert was drawn to her sharp mind and shared passion for science. They spent countless hours discussing their studies, challenging each other's ideas, and dreaming of future discoveries. It was a meeting of minds that blossomed into love. Their relationship was not without its challenges. Mileva faced significant obstacles as a woman in a male-dominated field, and her aspirations as a scientist were often met with skepticism. Albert, on the other hand, struggled to find a stable job after graduating, which cast uncertainty over their future together. Despite these difficulties, their bond remained strong. They wrote letters to each other, filled with discussions of physics and tender expressions of love. In 1903, Albert and Mileva married, embarking on a life together filled with both personal and scientific collaboration. They welcomed their first son, Hans Albert, in 1904, which added a new dimension to their relationship. Albert's love for Mileva and Hans Albert gave him stability and joy amid his intense focus on his work. During this period, Albert's career began to gain momentum, leading to the remarkable achievements of his miracle year in 1905. Mileva played a critical role in Albert's work, serving as a sounding board for his ideas and assisting with mathematical calculations. Some historians and scholars believe that Mileva's contributions to Albert's theories, especially in relation to the special theory of relativity, were significant, though her role has been the subject of much debate. The couple's partnership faced strains as Albert's fame grew and his responsibilities increased. The birth of their second son, Eduard, in 1910, brought additional challenges. Mileva struggled with health issues and the demands of raising two children, while Albert was often absorbed in his work and increasingly away from home. Despite these challenges, their love and respect for each other endured. They shared a deep connection based on intellectual companionship and mutual admiration. However, as the years passed, their paths began to diverge. Albert's career took him to Berlin, while Mileva remained in Zurich with the children, leading to a physical and emotional distance between them. In 1919, Albert and Mileva divorced, a difficult decision for both. Despite their separation, they maintained a correspondence, discussing matters related to their children and occasionally touching upon scientific questions. Albert's love for his sons remained a constant in his life, and he worked to support them and Mileva, even from afar. The story of Albert and Mileva is a poignant reminder of the complexities of love and partnership, especially between two individuals committed to both each other and their pursuit of knowledge. Their relationship played a crucial role in the early years of Albert's scientific journey, providing him with support and intellectual stimulation. Albert's personal life, marked by his marriage to Mileva and their collaboration, illustrates how love and science can intertwine, influencing and shaping one's pursuits. While their paths eventually parted, the legacy of their time together remains a testament to the power of partnership in the quest for understanding the mysteries of the universe. As we reflect on Albert Einstein's life, it is clear that his scientific achievements were not achieved in isolation. They were part of a broader narrative that included profound personal relationships and collaborations. Mileva Maric, with her intellect, strength, and dedication, played a significant role in Albert's early scientific endeavors, highlighting the importance of companionship and mutual support in the journey of discovery. In exploring the story of Albert and Mileva, we gain insight into the human aspects of scientific inquiry, the hopes, struggles, and connections that drive individuals to explore the unknown. Albert Einstein's legacy is not only one of groundbreaking theories, but also of a life lived with passion, curiosity, and an enduring quest for knowledge, both in the realms of science and the heart. Chapter 5. The Fabric of the Cosmos. In the early 20th century, after the whirlwind of his miracle year, Albert Einstein embarked on a journey that would further revolutionize our understanding of the universe. This chapter unfolds during the years following 1905, as Einstein turned his unparalleled genius toward a new challenge, the general theory of relativity. This theory would not only confirm his status as one of the greatest scientists in history, but also change our perception of space, time, and gravity. Einstein's special theory of relativity had already introduced the world to the mind-bending ideas that space and time were not absolute, but relative to the observer. However, there was still a piece of the cosmic puzzle missing. Gravity, the force that keeps our feet on the ground and governs the motion of planets and stars, did not fit neatly into this new framework. Newton's law of universal gravitation, which had stood unchallenged for more than 2 centuries, described gravity as a force acting at a distance. Einstein, however, believed that there was more to the story. Driven by a deep conviction that the universe was a harmonious whole, Einstein set out to develop a theory that could explain how gravity worked within the framework of relativity. This quest would consume the next decade of his life, a period of intense thought, creativity, and, at times, frustration. Einstein's insight into gravity was as revolutionary as it was elegant. He imagined that massive objects like the sun and the earth did not pull on each other across space, as Newton had described. Instead, they bent the very fabric of space-time around them. This bending of space-time, Einstein proposed, is what we perceive as gravity. To understand this, imagine space-time as a trampoline, and a heavy ball placed in the center represents a star like the sun. The trampoline's fabric will curve downward around the ball, creating a dip. Now, if you roll smaller balls, planets, onto the trampoline, they will move around the larger ball in curved paths, not because the larger ball is pulling them, but because the fabric of the trampoline is curved. This was the essence of Einstein's vision. Gravity was not a force, but the result of the curvature of space-time caused by mass. Developing the mathematical framework to describe this idea was a colossal task. Einstein had to learn new forms of mathematics, including tensor calculus, to express his thoughts with the precision they required. The work was so complex and demanding that it pushed Einstein to his limits. There were moments of doubt and periods of stagnation when it seemed that the puzzle might never be solved. But Einstein was not alone in his quest. He engaged in correspondence with some of the leading mathematicians of his time, who helped him navigate the complex mathematical landscapes he was exploring. His wife, Mileva Maric, also played a role in his scientific endeavors, providing support and companionship, though her direct contribution to his work remains a subject of debate among historians. Finally, in November 1915, Einstein presented his general theory of relativity to the Prussian Academy of Sciences in a series of lectures. The theory was a masterpiece of scientific thought, providing a unified description of gravity as the curvature of space-time. It offered new predictions, such as the bending of light by gravity and the precession of the orbits of planets, that could be tested through observation. The confirmation of these predictions came a few years later, turning Einstein into a global scientific celebrity. In 1919, British astronomer Sir Arthur Eddington observed a solar eclipse and found that the light from stars passing close to the sun was indeed bent, just as Einstein's theory had predicted. This observation was hailed as a triumph for the general theory of relativity and was widely reported in the press. Einstein's vision of a curved universe had been confirmed, and the fabric of the cosmos would never be seen in the same way again. The general theory of relativity was more than just a new theory of gravity. It was a new way of understanding the universe, revealing that space and time were dynamic, changing in response to the presence of mass and energy. This insight opened up new realms of possibility for understanding the cosmos, from the behavior of stars and galaxies to the origins of the universe itself. Einstein's journey to uncover the fabric of the cosmos was a testament to the power of human imagination and perseverance. It showed that our understanding of the universe is not fixed, but can be transformed through the pursuit of knowledge. The general theory of relativity was a monumental achievement, one that secured Einstein's place in history as one of the greatest scientists of all time. Chapter 6: Fame and Controversy. In the years following the confirmation of his general theory of relativity, Albert Einstein found himself catapulted from the realm of respected scientist to international celebrity. His name became synonymous with genius, and his theories were discussed by both scholars and the general public alike. However, this newfound fame was not without its challenges. Einstein's rise to prominence also brought with it controversy and skepticism from parts of the scientific community. The year 1919 marked a turning point in Einstein's life. The successful observation of light bending around the sun during a solar eclipse provided empirical evidence for his theory of relativity, an achievement that was hailed as one of the greatest scientific discoveries of the century. Newspapers around the world carried headlines about Einstein and his revolutionary theory, and he quickly became a household name. With fame came invitations to speak at universities across the globe, offers from prestigious journals to publish his work, and correspondence with some of the most brilliant minds of his time. People from all walks of life were fascinated by Einstein, the unassuming scientist who had unlocked new mysteries of the universe. His iconic unkempt hair and thoughtful expression became symbols of wisdom and intellectual curiosity. However, not everyone was ready to embrace Einstein's ideas. Some members of the scientific community were skeptical of relativity theory, finding it too radical and abstract. The theory's departure from Newtonian physics, which had been the foundation of science for centuries, was particularly contentious. Critics argued that Einstein's ideas were speculative and lacked empirical evidence, despite the observations that had confirmed the bending of light by gravity. In addition to scientific skepticism, Einstein's fame also made him a target for political criticism. The early 20th century was a time of tumult and upheaval, with the aftermath of World War I and the rise of nationalism in Europe. Einstein's pacifist views and public statements against nationalism and war made him controversial figures in some circles. His Jewish heritage further subjected him to anti-Semitic attacks, particularly in Germany, where nationalism was on the rise. Despite these challenges, Einstein remained committed to his principles and continued his work. He used his platform to advocate for peace, disarmament, and international cooperation. He also continued to develop his scientific theories, exploring new ideas and pushing the boundaries of human understanding. Einstein's relationship with the scientific community was complex. While some continued to question relativity theory, others began to see its profound implications for physics and cosmology. The theory's predictions were further confirmed by subsequent observations and experiments, such as the gravitational redshift of light and the time dilation measured by atomic clocks. As the evidence mounted, Einstein's theories gained wider acceptance, and his critics became a minority. The controversy surrounding Einstein's ideas did not diminish his status as one of the leading scientific figures of his time. On the contrary, it often served to highlight the revolutionary nature of his work and the courage it took to challenge established norms. Einstein became a symbol of intellectual bravery, someone who dared to imagine a universe governed by principles that were radically different from those that had been accepted for centuries. Einstein's fame also opened doors for him to engage with other cultural and political issues of the day. He met with leaders and intellectuals, participated in international conferences, and lent his voice to causes he believed in. His status as a scientific celebrity allowed him to influence public opinion and advocate for the values of peace, freedom, and scientific inquiry. The story of Einstein's rise to fame and the controversy that accompanied it is a testament to the power of ideas to change the world. It shows how new ways of thinking can be met with resistance, but also how perseverance and evidence can overcome skepticism. Einstein's journey from a patent office clerk to one of the most famous scientists in history is a reminder that greatness often comes from challenging the status quo and exploring the unknown. In this chapter, we see Einstein not just as a brilliant physicist, but as a public figure who navigated fame and controversy with integrity and conviction. His life during these years illustrates the complex interplay between science, politics, and society, and how one person's ideas can have a profound impact on the world. Through it all, Einstein remained focused on his quest for understanding, driven by an unyielding curiosity about the universe and a deep belief in the value of knowledge. Chapter 7. A Voice for Peace. In the shadow of World War I, the world was reeling from the devastation and loss it had witnessed. This was a time when the cry for peace echoed louder than ever before, and among those raising their voice was Albert Einstein. Known for his groundbreaking contributions to physics, Einstein also emerged as a passionate advocate for peace, showcasing his deep commitment to humanitarian causes. After the war ended in 1918, Europe was a continent in turmoil, grappling with the massive human and economic costs of the conflict. It was during this period of uncertainty and reflection that Einstein's focus shifted towards promoting peace and understanding among nations. He saw the scientific community as a model for international cooperation, transcending borders and conflicts in the pursuit of knowledge and understanding. Einstein's advocacy for peace was not just a passive wish. He actively participated in movements and organizations dedicated to preventing future wars. He joined the newly formed League of Nations Committee on Intellectual Cooperation, believing that by fostering dialogue and collaboration between intellectuals from different countries, they could build bridges and work towards a more peaceful world. Einstein's writings and speeches frequently addressed the need for pacifism and disarmament. He argued that the cycle of armament and retaliation only led to more conflict, advocating for a world where disputes were settled through dialogue and mutual respect rather than violence. His ideas, radical at the time, attracted both admiration and criticism. But Einstein was not deterred. He believed deeply in the principles of non-violence and was willing to face opposition to promote them. One of Einstein's most significant contributions to the peace movement was his support for the idea of a supranational organization that could mediate international disputes and prevent wars. This vision was ahead of its time, anticipating the formation of the United Nations after World War II. Einstein saw the League of Nations as a step in the right direction, but criticized it for lacking the authority and means to enforce peace effectively. Einstein's commitment to peace also led him to take stands on specific political issues. He was a vocal opponent of the arms race and militarism that characterized the interwar period. He spoke out against the use of scientific research for military purposes, regretting the role that science could play in contributing to destruction and war. Despite his global fame and the respect he commanded, Einstein's advocacy for peace was not without personal cost. His pacifist stance during and after World War I made him a controversial figure in his native Germany, where nationalistic sentiments ran high. He received threats and faced public backlash, yet he remained unwavering in his convictions. Einstein's efforts to promote peace extended beyond Europe. He was deeply concerned about the rise of fascism and totalitarianism in the 1930s, warning about the dangers these ideologies posed to freedom and peace. When World War II broke out, Einstein's hopes for a peaceful resolution to global conflicts were dashed, yet he continued to advocate for a world order based on cooperation and mutual respect. Throughout his life, Einstein remained a tireless advocate for peace, using his platform to speak out against war and violence. His legacy as a peace activist is a testament to his belief in the power of reason and dialogue to solve human conflicts. Einstein's work in this area reminds us that the pursuit of peace requires not only political action, but also a change in the hearts and minds of individuals. This chapter highlights Einstein's role as a voice for peace in a troubled time. His advocacy for disarmament, his support for international cooperation, and his commitment to humanitarian causes illustrate a different side of the man, known for his scientific genius. Einstein believed that science and knowledge should serve to unite humanity and promote peace, a vision that remains as relevant today as it was in his time. Einstein's journey as a peace activist shows us that one's influence can extend far beyond their professional achievements. It underscores the importance of standing up for one's convictions and the impact that a single voice can have in shaping a more peaceful and just world. As we reflect on Einstein's legacy, we are reminded of the enduring need for compassion, understanding, and cooperation among all peoples, a message that continues to inspire those who dream of a world without war. Chapter 8. Quantum Quandaries. At the dawn of the 20th century, a new field of physics was emerging, one that would challenge our understanding of the universe at its most fundamental level. This was the realm of quantum theory, a branch of physics that sought to describe the behavior of particles at the atomic and subatomic levels. Albert Einstein, already renowned for his theories of relativity, played a crucial role in the development of quantum mechanics, though his relationship with the field was complex and filled with philosophical debates. Einstein's journey into the quantum world began in 1905, the same year as his miracle year, with his paper on the photoelectric effect. This groundbreaking work proposed that light could be described as quanta of energy, which we now call photons. This idea was revolutionary, suggesting that light could behave both as a wave and as a particle, a duality that was difficult to reconcile with classical physics. For this contribution, Einstein was awarded the Nobel Prize in Physics in 1921, cementing his role as one of the pioneers of quantum theory. Despite his early contributions, Einstein found himself increasingly at odds with the direction in which quantum mechanics was developing. As the 1920s progressed, scientists like Niels Bohr, Werner Heisenberg, and Erwin Schrödinger further developed quantum theory, introducing concepts such as wave-particle duality and the uncertainty principle. These ideas suggested that at the quantum level, particles do not have definite positions, velocities, or paths until they are observed. Instead, their properties exist in a state of probability until measurement collapses them into a definite state. Einstein was deeply troubled by these implications. He believed in an objective reality where particles have definite properties, whether we observe them or not. He famously declared, "God does not play dice with the universe," expressing his discomfort with the inherent randomness and lack of predictability that quantum mechanics seemed to imply. This philosophical divide led to a series of debates between Einstein and proponents of quantum mechanics, most notably Niels Bohr. These debates were not just scientific discussions, but profound inquiries into the nature of reality itself. Einstein crafted thought experiments intended to show that quantum mechanics was incomplete, arguing that there must be hidden variables that determine particle properties even when they are not being observed. One of Einstein's most famous thought experiments was the EPR paradox, developed with physicists Boris Podolsky and Nathan Rosen in 1935. The paradox challenged the notion of quantum entanglement, where particles can become correlated in such a way that the state of one, no matter how far apart, instantaneously affects the state of the other. Einstein saw this as spooky action at a distance and argued that it violated the principle of locality, which states that objects are only directly influenced by their immediate surroundings. Despite Einstein's objections, experiments over the following decades confirmed the predictions of quantum mechanics, including the reality of quantum entanglement. This left Einstein somewhat isolated in his views, as the majority of the physics community embraced quantum mechanics as the best available description of the microscopic world. Einstein's contributions to quantum theory and his debates over its philosophical implications highlight a fascinating aspect of his character. a relentless pursuit of a deeper understanding of the universe. Even as he disagreed with some of the foundational principles of quantum mechanics, his challenges and questions spurred further research and discussion, driving the field forward. The story of Einstein's engagement with quantum mechanics is a testament to the complexity of scientific discovery. It shows that science is not just a straightforward accumulation of facts, but a dynamic process of debate, revision, and sometimes revolution. Einstein's willingness to question and challenge the prevailing wisdom reminds us that progress often comes from a deep engagement with the unknown and a willingness to reconsider our most basic assumptions. In this chapter, we see Einstein not just as a brilliant physicist, but as a philosopher of science, wrestling with the deepest questions about the nature of reality. His legacy in quantum mechanics is not just about his early contributions, but also about his enduring influence on the philosophical underpinnings of the field. As we explore the quantum quandaries that occupied Einstein's mind, we gain a deeper appreciation for the curiosity and critical thinking that drive scientific inquiry. Chapter 9: Escaping Shadows. The early 1930s marked a dark period in history as the Nazis rose to power in Germany. This rise brought with it a shadow of hate, intolerance, and danger, especially for the Jewish community, including one of the world's most renowned scientists, Albert Einstein. Einstein's decision to leave Germany during this tumultuous time was not just a turning point in his life, but also a significant moment in history, symbolizing the loss of intellectual freedom under the Nazi regime. In 1933, Einstein was at the height of his career, working at the Prussian Academy of Sciences in Berlin. He was already known for his outspoken views on peace and his criticisms of nationalism and militarism, which had made him unpopular with some nationalist and anti-Semitic groups even before the Nazis took power. However, the situation worsened significantly when Hitler became Chancellor of Germany. The Nazis, with their ideology of racial purity and German supremacy, were vehemently anti-Semitic and anti-intellectual, especially towards those who opposed their views. Einstein, a prominent Jewish figure who advocated for peace and democracy, was naturally at odds with the regime. The Nazis denounced Einstein's theories as Jewish physics, promoting Aryan science instead. As the political climate in Germany grew increasingly hostile, Einstein found himself in danger. He received threats and was aware that his property and personal safety were at risk. His works were targeted in the infamous book burnings, and he was included in the Nazi enemies list, which marked individuals for assassination. Einstein was out of the country, traveling in the United States, when Hitler was appointed Chancellor. Recognizing the grave danger he and many others faced under Nazi rule, Einstein made the difficult decision not to return to Germany. He renounced his positions at the Prussian Academy of Sciences and his German citizenship, severing his official ties to the country that had been his home for so many years. The decision to leave was not made lightly. Germany had been central to Einstein's personal and professional life. It was the place where he had achieved his greatest scientific breakthroughs and where he had built his career. However, Einstein understood that the rise of the Nazis represented a fundamental threat, not only to his own safety, but to the values of freedom and justice he held dear. Einstein's departure from Germany was a significant loss for the country. It symbolized the broader exodus of intellectuals, scientists, artists, and thinkers who fled Nazi persecution. This brain drain deprived Germany of some of its brightest minds, many of whom, like Einstein, contributed significantly to their fields in their new homes. Einstein settled in the United States, where he took a position at the Institute for Advanced Study in Princeton, New Jersey. Here, he continued his scientific work, but his experiences in Germany left a lasting impact on his views and activities. He became more politically active, using his fame to speak out against fascism, support refugees fleeing the Nazis, and advocate for civil rights and freedom of expression. Einstein's escape from Nazi Germany is a powerful reminder of the destructive impact of intolerance and authoritarianism. It shows how hatred and bigotry can drive away talent, creativity, and human potential, leading to immense cultural and intellectual loss. Einstein's decision to leave, while difficult, allowed him to continue his work and speak out against the injustices of his time. This chapter of Einstein's life teaches us the importance of standing up for our principles and the values of freedom and humanity. It reminds us that sometimes we must make hard choices to preserve these ideals. Einstein's legacy is not just one of scientific genius, but also of courage in the face of tyranny and a commitment to the betterment of society. Einstein's story during this period is a testament to the resilience of the human spirit. It highlights how, even in the darkest times, individuals can resist oppression and contribute to the world in meaningful ways. Einstein's escape from the shadows of Nazi Germany and his subsequent contributions to science and society in the United States demonstrate the enduring power of knowledge, compassion, and courage. Chapter 10. A New World. In 1933, amidst the turmoil and rising danger in Nazi Germany, Albert Einstein made a monumental decision that would change the course of his life forever. He chose to leave Europe and start anew in the United States. This move was not just a change of location, it marked a significant transition in Einstein's life, filled with both hope for the future and sadness for what he was leaving behind. Upon arriving in the United States, Einstein was welcomed with open arms. He accepted a position at the Institute for Advanced Study in Princeton, New Jersey, an institution that offered him the freedom to pursue his scientific interests without the burdens of teaching duties. This new role provided Einstein with a sanctuary of peace and intellectual freedom, a stark contrast to the oppressive environment he had fled in Germany. Einstein's arrival in the United States was met with great fanfare. Americans were fascinated by the renowned scientist, whose theories had captivated the world. The media followed his journey closely, and he quickly became a celebrated figure across the country. This attention was something Einstein found both flattering and overwhelming, as he had always preferred a more private life devoted to contemplation and research. Despite the warm welcome and the opportunities that awaited him in his new home, Einstein could not shake off a deep sense of loss. He grieved for Europe and the vibrant cultural and intellectual life he had left behind. Many of his friends and colleagues were still in danger, and the rise of fascism across the continent weighed heavily on his heart. Einstein was acutely aware of the devastation that the Nazi regime was inflicting, not only on individuals, but on the spirit of freedom and inquiry that had defined European thought. Einstein's mixed feelings about his relocation were compounded by his concerns for the future. He was deeply troubled by the growing tensions that would eventually lead to World War II. In his new role as a public figure in the United States, he did not shy away from expressing his political views, advocating for peace and warning against the dangers of fascism and militarism. In Princeton, Einstein found a community of fellow émigrés, many of whom had also fled the Nazis. These connections provided a sense of belonging and continuity with his European past. He became an active member of the community, engaging in discussions and initiatives aimed at helping refugees and promoting intellectual freedom. His home became a meeting place for scientists, intellectuals, and activists, reflecting his wide-ranging interests and commitment to social causes. Despite the challenges of adjusting to a new country, Einstein continued his scientific work with undiminished passion. He delved into unified field theory, a project that aimed to combine the forces of nature into a single theoretical framework. While this endeavor did not lead to the breakthroughs he had achieved with relativity, it kept him at the forefront of theoretical physics and cemented his status as one of the most important thinkers of his time. Einstein's life in the United States was not just about science. It was also a time of personal growth and reflection. He became increasingly involved in social and political issues, from civil rights to the ethical implications of nuclear weapons. His experiences in Europe and his observations of life in America deepened his commitment to humanitarian causes, making him not only a scientist, but also a voice of conscience for the world. The transition to life in America was a profound journey for Einstein, filled with new challenges and opportunities. It was a time of redefinition, both personally and professionally, as he navigated the complexities of a new world while holding on to the values and memories of his past. Einstein's resettlement in the United States illustrates the resilience and adaptability of the human spirit, showing how, even in times of great change, one can find ways to make a meaningful impact. Chapter 11. The Letter That Changed History. In the summer of 1939, the world stood on the brink of another global conflict. Tensions in Europe were escalating, and the scientific community was abuzz with a groundbreaking discovery that had the potential to change the course of history. It was during this time that Albert Einstein, now living in the United States, found himself at the center of a pivotal moment that would forever alter the landscape of international politics and warfare. The discovery in question was nuclear fission, the process of splitting an atom to release a tremendous amount of energy. This scientific breakthrough, achieved by physicists Lise Meitner, Otto Hahn, and Fritz Strassmann, hinted at the possibility of creating weapons of unprecedented power. As news of the discovery spread, it became clear that if such a weapon were developed, it could decide the outcome of any future war. Einstein, renowned for his pacifist views, was initially removed from the discussions surrounding the military applications of nuclear fission. However, his destiny changed with the visit of a fellow physicist, Leo Szilard. Szilard, along with other European émigré scientists, was deeply concerned about the potential for Nazi Germany to develop atomic weapons. Understanding the gravity of the situation, Szilard turned to Einstein, whose fame and access to influential figures could help raise the alarm at the highest levels of the American government. After several discussions, Einstein agreed with Szilard's assessment of the danger. Together, they drafted a letter addressed to President Franklin D. Roosevelt. The letter warned of the possibility that Nazi Germany could develop atomic bombs and urged the United States to accelerate its own research into nuclear weapons. Signing the letter was a momentous decision for Einstein. Known for his lifelong commitment to peace, he was now advocating for the development of a weapon of unimaginable destructive power. Yet Einstein saw it as a necessary evil, a means to prevent a greater catastrophe should such weapons fall into the hands of the Nazis. The letter, delivered to President Roosevelt in October 1939, had an immediate impact. Roosevelt recognized the urgency of the situation and authorized the creation of the Advisory Committee on Uranium, which laid the groundwork for what would eventually become the Manhattan Project, the secret U.S. effort to develop atomic bombs. Einstein's involvement in the genesis of the Manhattan Project was indirect but crucial. His letter had set in motion a chain of events that would lead to the development and eventual use of atomic weapons in warfare. In August 1945, the United States dropped 2 atomic bombs on the Japanese cities of Hiroshima and Nagasaki, leading to Japan's surrender and the end of World War II. The bombings caused unprecedented destruction and loss of life, highlighting the devastating power of nuclear weapons. The aftermath of the bombings left Einstein with a profound sense of sorrow and guilt. He had always hoped that the threat of atomic weapons would be enough to deter their use, and he was devastated by the reality of their impact. For the rest of his life, Einstein became an outspoken advocate for nuclear disarmament and international cooperation to prevent future nuclear conflicts. The letter to President Roosevelt remains a defining moment in Einstein's life and in the history of the 20th century. It illustrates the complex interplay between science, ethics, and politics, and the responsibilities that come with scientific discovery. Einstein's decision to sign the letter was driven by a desire to protect humanity from the dangers he foresaw, but it also raised questions about the role of scientists in shaping the technologies that can both advance and threaten civilization. Chapter 12. A Unified Theory. In the later years of his life, after the tumult of World War II and the dawn of the atomic age, Albert Einstein dedicated himself to a quest that was as ambitious as it was elusive. He sought to develop a unified field theory, a single theoretical framework that could explain all physical phenomena, merging the forces of nature into one comprehensive theory. This pursuit, which occupied the final decades of Einstein's career, was marked by both deep commitment and profound isolation from the mainstream scientific community. Einstein's journey toward a unified theory was driven by his belief in an underlying simplicity and harmony in the laws of the universe. He had already transformed our understanding of space, time, and gravity with his theories of relativity. Now he aimed to go further, to unify his theory of gravitation with electromagnetism, the only other force understood at the time, thereby explaining all known physical interactions in a single, elegant mathematical framework. The quest was formidable. The more the scientific community learned about the subatomic world, the more complex it seemed. The development of quantum mechanics had opened up a new realm of physics, one that seemed fundamentally at odds with the smooth fabric of space and time described by general relativity. Yet, Einstein was convinced that beneath this apparent complexity lay a deeper simplicity, a unified theory that could reconcile relativity with the quantum world. Despite his conviction, Einstein faced significant challenges in his pursuit. The scientific community was moving rapidly forward with the development of quantum mechanics, which had proven incredibly successful in explaining phenomena at the atomic and subatomic levels. Key figures in physics, including Niels Bohr and Werner Heisenberg, were making groundbreaking discoveries using the principles of quantum theory, further distancing the field from Einstein's vision of a deterministic universe governed by a unified field theory. As the years passed, Einstein's quest for unification increasingly isolated him from his peers. Many in the scientific community viewed his pursuit as outdated, a relic of a bygone era in physics. The sharp division between the smooth, continuous universe of relativity and the discrete, probabilistic universe of quantum mechanics seemed insurmountable. Yet, Einstein remained undeterred, spending hours at his desk at the Institute for Advanced Study in Princeton, surrounded by stacks of papers filled with equations and calculations. Einstein's commitment to his unified field theory was not just a scientific endeavor, it was a deeply philosophical pursuit. He believed that the universe was an ordered and rational place, governed by laws that were beautiful in their simplicity. This belief underpinned all his work, and the quest for unification was its ultimate expression. To Einstein, uncovering this underlying order was the highest goal of science, a way to glimpse the mind of God. Despite his efforts, Einstein was unable to achieve his dream of a unified field theory during his lifetime. The complexities of the quantum world and the emergence of new forces beyond gravity and electromagnetism, such as the strong and weak nuclear forces, made the task even more daunting. Yet his pursuit was not in vain. Einstein's quest inspired subsequent generations of physicists to continue the search for unification, leading to the development of theories such as quantum field theory, the standard model of particle physics, and string theory. Einstein's later years, marked by his solitary quest for a unified theory, are a testament to the power of intellectual curiosity and the courage to pursue one's convictions, even in the face of skepticism and isolation. His unwavering dedication to understanding the fundamental laws of the universe exemplifies the spirit of scientific inquiry, driven by a desire to uncover the deepest truths of nature. Chapter 13. Activist for Humanity. Albert Einstein, celebrated as one of the greatest physicists of all time, also left an indelible mark on the world as a fervent advocate for peace, civil rights, and the creation of a global community. Beyond the realm of science, his profound humanitarian efforts and outspoken stance against racism and nationalism showcased a different facet of his character, painting a picture of a man deeply committed to social justice and the betterment of humanity. In the years following World War II and his settlement in the United States, Einstein became increasingly vocal about the social issues plaguing the world. Having witnessed firsthand the devastating consequences of unchecked nationalism and racial prejudice in Nazi Germany, he was determined to use his influence to advocate for change. One of Einstein's most passionate causes was the civil rights movement in America. Despite his own experiences of anti-Semitism, Einstein was deeply moved by the racial discrimination and segregation faced by African Americans. He saw parallels between the oppression of Jews in Europe and the struggle for equality in the United States, and believed in speaking out against injustice, irrespective of where it occurred. Einstein's commitment to civil rights was not just theoretical. He was actively involved in the movement. He became a member of the NAACP, National Association for the Advancement of Colored People, through his friendship with W.E.B. Du Bois, one of the organization's founders and a prominent civil rights activist. Einstein offered his support, prestige, and financial help to the cause, and he corresponded with other leading figures of the civil rights movement. Perhaps one of the most telling examples of Einstein's commitment to fighting racial injustice was his outspoken support for the Scottsboro Boys, 9 African-American teenagers who were falsely accused of raping 2 white women in Alabama in 1931. The case became a cause célèbre, highlighting the deep-seated racism and injustice of the American legal system. Einstein was vociferous in his condemnation of their treatment and worked tirelessly behind the scenes to aid their defense. Einstein's advocacy extended beyond the borders of the United States. He was a proponent of Zionism, the movement for the establishment of a Jewish homeland in Palestine. However, his vision of Zionism was unique. He supported the creation of a state where Jews could live safely and freely. But he also advocated for peaceful coexistence with the Arab population. Einstein's Zionism was rooted in cultural and humanitarian values rather than nationalism, and he envisioned a binational state where rights and resources were shared equitably. At the heart of Einstein's activism was a profound belief in the need for a global community, transcending national, racial, and religious divides. He saw nationalism as a major obstacle to peace and human progress, believing it fostered division and conflict. Einstein advocated for a world government that could arbitrate international disputes and ensure global cooperation on issues like disarmament and resource management. Though his ideas were considered utopian by many of his contemporaries, they reflected his deep-seated conviction that humanity's survival depended on overcoming narrow self-interest and working together for the common good. Einstein's outspokenness often came at a personal cost. He was subjected to surveillance by the FBI, and his political views were controversial in the context of the Cold War. Nonetheless, he remained unwavering in his commitment to his principles, demonstrating a rare combination of brilliance, moral integrity, and courage. Chapter 14. The Icon. Albert Einstein's journey through life transformed him from a pioneering physicist into a global icon of wisdom and moral integrity. His distinctive image, marked by untamed hair, expressive eyes, and a thoughtful demeanor, became one of the most recognizable in the world. However, it was not just his appearance or scientific achievements that captured the public's imagination. Einstein's outspoken views on peace, humanity, and freedom resonated deeply with people worldwide, elevating him to a status that transcended scientific boundaries. After settling in the United States, Einstein's reputation as a brilliant physicist was already well established. His theories of relativity had revolutionized our understanding of the universe, challenging conventional notions of space and time. But as the world grappled with the aftermath of World War II and the ethical dilemmas posed by nuclear weapons, Einstein's voice emerged as a beacon of reason and compassion. His commitment to social justice, disarmament, and international cooperation reflected a profound concern for the future of humanity. Einstein's public stance on various social and political issues made him a figure of admiration beyond the scientific community. He became a symbol of the conscientious scientist, one who recognized the responsibility that came with knowledge and sought to use his insights for the betterment of society. This aspect of his character was particularly appealing in an era marked by political tension and the threat of nuclear annihilation. Einstein's ability to communicate complex ideas in simple, relatable terms contributed to his widespread appeal. He had a gift for using metaphor and analogy to convey the beauty and intricacy of the universe, making his work accessible to those without a scientific background. His writings and lectures often touched on philosophical questions about the nature of reality, the limits of human understanding, and the role of science in society, inviting people to ponder the larger mysteries of existence. One of the key factors that solidified Einstein's status as an icon was his approachability and humility. Despite his towering intellect, he remained genuinely interested in the ideas and well-being of others, including students, colleagues, and the general public. His sense of humor and playful nature, often captured in photographs and anecdotes, made him a relatable figure, endearing him to millions around the globe. Einstein's influence extended into popular culture, where he became a symbol of genius and creativity. His image-graced magazine covers, posters, and advertisements, often accompanied by quotes that spoke to his wisdom and ethical convictions. The iconic photograph of Einstein sticking out his tongue, taken on his 72nd birthday, became a symbol of his nonconformist spirit and refusal to take himself too seriously. Beyond his contributions to physics and his public persona, Einstein's legacy is deeply rooted in his advocacy for a better world. His calls for peace, his warnings against the dangers of unchecked authority and prejudice, and his vision for a global community founded on mutual respect and understanding continue to inspire those who seek to navigate the complexities of the modern world. In becoming an icon, Einstein showed that the influence of a scientist can extend far beyond the laboratory or the classroom. He demonstrated that intellectual curiosity, combined with compassion and a commitment to justice, can have a profound impact on society. His life and work remind us of the power of ideas to shape the world and of the responsibility we all share to use our knowledge and abilities for the common good. Chapter 15. The Final Puzzle. As the twilight years of Albert Einstein's life approached, his dedication to unlocking the mysteries of the universe remained undiminished. Nestled in the quiet town of Princeton, New Jersey, Einstein continued his quest for knowledge, seeking to solve the final puzzle that had eluded him for decades: a unified field theory. Despite the changing world around him, his passion for understanding the fundamental principles of the universe never wavered. This chapter delves into Einstein's final days, reflecting on his life's work and the unfinished business that continued to occupy his thoughts. In his study at the Institute for Advanced Study, surrounded by stacks of papers and books, Einstein spent his days deep in thought. The quest for a unified theory had become more than just a scientific pursuit. It was a philosophical journey, a search for a deeper harmony in the laws of nature. Einstein believed that all forces in the universe were interconnected, and he was convinced that it was possible to describe them within a single, elegant, mathematical framework. Despite his advanced age and the growing isolation from the mainstream scientific community, Einstein's resolve never faltered. The advent of quantum mechanics and its widespread acceptance had transformed physics, but Einstein remained skeptical of its probabilistic interpretation. He held on to the belief that there was a deterministic underpinning to the quantum world, a belief that fueled his search for unification. Einstein's final years were also a time of reflection. He looked back on his contributions to physics, from the groundbreaking papers of his miracle year to the monumental theories of relativity that had reshaped our understanding of space and time. He pondered the impact of his work, not only on the field of physics, but on the world at large. His theories had opened up new avenues of research and had fundamentally altered the way we perceive the universe. However, Einstein also grappled with the consequences of his scientific legacy, particularly the role he played in the development of nuclear weapons. The letter he signed to President Roosevelt had set in motion the events that led to the Manhattan Project and the eventual creation of the atomic bomb. The devastation wrought by these weapons in Hiroshima and Nagasaki weighed heavily on his conscience. Einstein became a vocal advocate for nuclear disarmament and international peace, efforts that defined much of his activity in his later years. As Einstein's health began to decline, his commitment to his work remained steadfast. He continued to write and correspond with fellow scientists, sharing his ideas and engaging in discussions about the future of physics. Even as he faced the inevitability of his own mortality, Einstein's curiosity and desire to understand the cosmos were undimmed. On April 18, 1955, Albert Einstein passed away at the age of 76. In his final hours, he was still working on his unified field theory, scribbling equations on scraps of paper in a last attempt to grasp the unified beauty he believed governed the universe. Einstein left behind a legacy that was both monumental and incomplete, a testament to the unending quest for knowledge that defines the human spirit. Einstein's final puzzle, the unified field theory, remains unsolved to this day, yet his journey towards understanding the fundamental truths of the universe continues to inspire scientists and thinkers around the world. His life's work stands as a beacon of intellectual achievement, a reminder of the power of curiosity and the endless possibilities that lie in the pursuit of knowledge. Chapter 16. Legacy Beyond Time. As the final chapter of our exploration into the life and contributions of Albert Einstein unfolds, we turn our gaze to the monumental legacy he left behind, a legacy that transcends time and continues to shape our understanding of the universe, influence modern science, and permeate popular culture. Albert Einstein was not merely a scientist who decoded some of the universe's most perplexing puzzles. He became a symbol of curiosity, intellectual freedom, and the relentless pursuit of knowledge. Einstein's scientific legacy is monumental, laying the foundation for much of modern physics. His theory of special relativity revolutionized our understanding of space, time, and energy, introducing the world to the famous equation EMC2, which established the principle of mass-energy equivalence. This insight opened new avenues in physics, providing the theoretical underpinning for nuclear energy and weapons. Meanwhile, his general theory of relativity offered a new framework for understanding gravity, not as a force between masses, but as the curvature of space-time itself, caused by mass and energy. This radical concept has been confirmed time and again, influencing the development of technologies like GPS and advancing our understanding of phenomena such as black holes and the expansion of the universe. Beyond the realms of relativity, Einstein's contributions to quantum theory, particularly his explanation of the photoelectric effect, laid the groundwork for the development of quantum mechanics. His insights into the particular nature of light earned him the Nobel Prize in Physics and catalyzed the emergence of fields such as quantum computing, semiconductors, and photonics. Despite his later reservations about the probabilistic nature of quantum mechanics, his early work remains foundational to one of the most vibrant areas of modern physics. Einstein's impact, however, extends far beyond the scientific community. He became an iconic figure in popular culture, recognized around the world not just for his scientific achievements, but also for his distinctive persona and his humanitarian and philosophical views. His image and quotes have become ubiquitous, symbolizing wisdom, creativity, and the quest for understanding. Einstein's playful demeanor and approachable nature helped demystify the image of the aloof scientist, making science more accessible and appealing to the public. Moreover, Einstein's outspoken political activism and advocacy for peace, civil rights, and Zionism demonstrated his deep concern for humanity and his desire for a better world. His efforts to promote social justice and his warnings about the dangers of nuclear weapons and nationalism resonate to this day, inspiring movements and discussions around ethics, responsibility, and the role of scientists in society. The enduring fascination with Einstein reflects not only admiration for his intellectual achievements, but also a shared longing to uncover the mysteries of the universe. His life encourages us to question our assumptions, embrace our curiosity, and seek deeper understanding, regardless of the field of inquiry. Einstein's legacy teaches us that the pursuit of knowledge is a noble endeavor, one that has the power to transform our understanding of the world and our place within it. As we conclude our journey through the life and legacy of Albert Einstein, we are reminded that his contributions extend far beyond the equations and theories he developed. Einstein's legacy is a testament to the impact one individual can have on the world, through both scientific breakthroughs and a commitment to humanitarian principles. His life and work continue to inspire future generations of scientists, thinkers, and activists to look beyond the visible, to challenge the status quo, and to work towards a deeper understanding and a better future for all. Einstein's legacy beyond time is a beacon of inspiration, illuminating the path for those who dare to dream of understanding the cosmos and improving the human condition. As we move forward, we carry with us the lessons of his life: curiosity, perseverance, and compassion, reminding us that our quest for knowledge and our pursuit of justice are inextricably linked, guiding us towards a brighter, more enlightened